MS Dhoni is arguably India's best ever captain, if not the best ever. As Dhoni completes 10 years today of winning all three ICC titles, we at India.com Cricket Country will relive Dhoni's success as captain and speak about the key moves that made him special, made him Dhoni cut above the rest. And to do that, we have with us Jaideep Ghosh, who's a senior sports journalist. We have with us Biswajit Jha, who's an author and an ex-sports journalist. We have Arun, we have Kaushik, we have Sunny as well. Like always, I'll start with you, Jaideep, over here. So, Dhoni completes 10 years of three ICC titles 2007, 2011, and 2013. All the three have different significances. Like, for example, the 2007 World Cup was the inaugural T20 World Cup. Dhoni went in with a very new team. The seniors were missing Saurav Ganguly, Rahul Dravid, Kumble, and Sachin. He still managed to inspire the team and lead them to win a victory. In 2011, come 2011, Dhoni had a side which had a cocktail of youngsters as well as senior players. The World Cup was in India. The pressure was high. The stakes were really high as India had not won a ODI World Cup for a very long time. Dhoni won that. Then comes 2 years later. Then comes 2013, the Champions Trophy, where we see a Rohit Sharma in an all-new avatar. The guy has started opening the batting with Shikhar Dhawan, and they are a successful pair at the top. So yes, among the three wins, the three ICC titles, which stands out the most and why? Jaideep, opening remarks.
I think the first one, the T20 World Cup, stands out as the most important for me. Two reasons. One reason is that you know when we went into this tournament, nobody really gave too much of how to 20 over cricket anyway, and many of the seniors were a little contemptuous about this whole this concept of playing T20 cricket. And one of the reasons that we didn't have any of the seniors in the team was because they didn't think it was worth their time or energy to invest in this. And there was also, I think, a little bit of a a concern that they might not fit in well into this format. It was supposed to be a very
We had
slam bang
lost, if
format.
I'm not wrong, if my memory serves me right, India had lost
Hmm.
in West Indies the ODI World Cup, and in
Yeah,
the next 3 months' time, the team had to play in South Africa.
yes,
So a
it
few
was. It
players
was.
wanted a break, and I think that is
I,
something that happens. Yeah.
yeah, it's always a break. It's never anything else in Indian cricket. But as far as I know, it was. I mean, yeah, well, let's say it was a break. Fine, cool. Huh. But anyway, the fact of the matter is that many of the seniors were not there, and this was a format which was very new. For a team to stitch together and come good and combine together and together well throughout the tournament and eventually win a pretty high pressure final, I think was quite an achievement. The rest of the events were decent. I mean, I'm not underplaying any of them, but that one was a landmark win, I think, because the 2011 World Cup, I think, even after, I mean, even during the end of the group stages and the beginning of the knockout, everyone was pretty much sure that India is going to play the final. It's just a matter of who they're going to play. So that was almost expected. I mean, I would have been very surprised if the script went anywhere else. But the T20 World Cup definitely was the one for me.
Viswajit, of course, I'm going to ask you the same question: 2007, 11, or 13. Which is the one that stands out and why?
Every win is important, was important at that particular point of time. But here I will add something more because I think that we have to understand the approach of Dhoni towards captaincy and towards playing his game, the way he played his game. It's more of a philosophical approach to life that the way Dhoni played cricket. Actually, he never hankered for anything, hankered after anything. He always he was calm, calculative, and we have to understand that two like Ganguly and Kohli, they also played for India. They also captained India. They captained Ganguly captained before Dhoni and Kohli after. But they were most animated captain and the emotional captain. And that's why I believe that in 2003 also we lost the World Cup in the final. In 2019 also we lost in semi-final. These are the high pressure match and we lost it because our captain Dhoni or Kohli, they couldn't check their emotions, they control their emotions. So I think that they are actually Dhoni was way ahead of them because in the crucial match, in the tight matches, he was the man could keep his cool, and his approach to the game was entirely different. If we see the approach of like, so that's why actually I think that he could give India that much success because of his philosophical approach to life, and because he was never hankered after anything. So what came, and he believed in destiny. So he was like, he was not very like, when India used to win also, he was not very ecstatic, or when India used to lose, he was not very like gloomy. So that approach actually helped Dhoni win so many matches, tight matches rather, and so many big trophies.
अरुण, मैं आपसे सेम सवाल करूंगा कि 2007, 2011 या फिर 2013 किसका महत्व ज्यादा है और क्यों है?
अंकित, हम इसको ऐसे तो अलग नहीं कर पाएंगे,
अरुण,
क्योंकि हर टूर्नामेंट का अपना अपना महत्व रहा है। आवाज आ रही है मेरी? देखिए,
जी
हर
जी जी,
टूर्नामेंट का अपना अपना महत्व रहता है कि कौन ज्यादा है कौन कम है, इसको तो शायद नहीं बता पाएंगे, क्योंकि 2011 का अपना महत्व है, 7 का अपना महत्व है कि जिस तरह से उसने T20 क्रिकेट में क्रांति ला दिया, और 13 जो आज जिस जीत को हम सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं उसका भी अपना खास महत्व है कि इंग्लैंड में जाके हम जीत रहे थे, फंसा हुआ मैच था, उसको बारिश के चलते उसको छोटा करना पड़ा, 20-20 ओवर का मैच था, और वो इंडिया किस तरह से निकाल कर ले गई थी, आप थोड़ा ध्यान याद करेंगे। तो हर टूर्नामेंट में इस तरह से नहीं बता पाऊंगा किसका महत्व ज्यादा है।
राइट राइट। Sunny, तुमने दो, because Sunny is the youngest member in our panel right now. So I'll ask Sunny, did you watch the 2007 T20 World Cup? पहले तो ये बताओ। You did. तो तुम्हारे जहन में मतलब when you compare 2007, 2011 और 2013, सबसे बड़ा जीत धोनी का नेतृत्व में कौन सा था आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट्स में? सनी।
तो अंकित, ऑब्वियसली 2011 सबसे बड़ी जीत होगी। इंडिया के अंदर मैच था, इंडियन फैंस थे, और उस टाइम पे एक अलग हाइप बनी हुई थी। धोनी के सिक्सर्स, धोनी की बैटिंग, धोनी का हेयर स्टाइल, धोनी की कूलनेस, कैप्टन कूल। और ये अभी अभी विश्वजीत ने जैसा बोला, धोनी इमोशनल नहीं होते थे। अगर हम उसके साथ वाले, धोनी के साथ वाले क्रिकेटर्स से बात करते हैं तो वो बताते हैं धोनी कितना इमोशनल होते थे। वो मतलब इतना इमोशनल हो जाते थे। अभी आईपीएल के बारे में ही बात चल रही थी। आईपीएल के टाइम पे ही क्राइड जब चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स 2 साल के लिए बाहर हो गई। तो धोनी इमोशनल थे, लेकिन इमोशंस उन्हें पता था कहाँ पे कैसे क्या करना है। और धोनी ने क्रिकेट को कहीं ना कहीं, इंडियन क्रिकेट को काफी ज्यादा चेंज कर दिया। 2011 वर्ल्ड कप मेरे लिए अंकित बेस्ट होगा, एनी डे बेस्ट होगा, क्योंकि इंडिया के अंदर था, मुंबई का क्राउड था, पूरे इंडिया का क्राउड था, और सारी नजरें हमारे धोनी के ऊपर टिकी हुई थी। तो हाँ।
Jaideep, you've covered so much of cricket, I mean, so extensively. But before I come to you with that question, the same question to Kaushik over here. Kaushik, for you, which is the one that is most important and more significant in terms of Indian cricket?
I would say the 2007 T20 World Cup win. I mean, just as you said in your intro, that before that World Cup, India lost in West Indies. India were out in the league stage only. So from that setback to regain that lost confidence in the Indian team, that India can win at the global stage. So I think 2007 World Cup was for me the most significant, and obviously 2011 and World Cup, and the 2013 ICC Champions Trophy. Those will also be in the same annals of the Indian cricket. But for me, 2007 World Cup changed that mindset. Changed. I mean, that brought us from that setback that we can also win at the top level.
Jaideep, you've covered cricket extensively over, I mean, years. You have seen so many Indian captains. You have also seen a Saurav Ganguly. You have seen MS Dhoni. You have also seen Virat Kohli nowadays. And then comes Rohit Sharma. So when we say that, Dhoni is probably the best captain ever because he has the trophies and all of that. When you compare Dhoni to Saurav Ganguly, what is the difference? And we are specifically talking about Dhoni and Saurav Ganguly. I'll tell you why. Because both were, touted as born leaders. When Dhoni came in, won us the trophy, they said that, oh my God, this guy is a born leader. They said the same thing when Saurav Ganguly took over the leadership of the Indian cricket team. So, but Ganguly, of course, wasn't that lucky. I mean, he did not have luck on his side. So, he reached a lot of finals and couldn't go over the line. But when you compare the two captains, I mean, what is the big striking difference that makes Dhoni cut above Saurav Ganguly and the rest? Jaideep, you're on mute.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. Okay, difference, the biggest difference that I think between Ganguly and Dhoni was one that is that I think Dhoni's on-field presence and flexibility is much more in terms of being able to read certain situation which might not have occurred when you started playing and might have ended up in during the match. I think his flexibility is very much more, and I think his instinctive knowledge of how a certain player will play and how a certain situation will arise is a little different from every other captain that I have seen, every other Indian captain that I have seen. Also, many of the world captains. The biggest difference between Ganguly and Dhoni is that, see, Ganguly also was a very aggressive captain, but he was an in-your-face aggressive captain. He was the kind of guy who would say, "Ki agar like many cricketers who have come up through the ranks in his tenure have said his brief was simple that if you go there and you get sledged, don't come back quietly. तुमको दो सुना था तुम पांच सुना क्या हुआ that is all very well but the point is that eventually you have to also win the match. Dhoni was not the kind of guy who go and tell his players ki जाके लड़के आ जाओ. He would just say do your thing well and do your this is what we need to do to win the match. That is where the difference is. See, this like the 2003 World Cup final when I was there, unfortunately. So this whole exercise that we saw, that after a point we realized that our aggression on the field while we were fielding was not really working out. It was not getting us anywhere because the Australians had played too many finals before that and they knew how to play a final. We were pretty raw in this whole
We were
exercise,
caught
and
napping in a way.
we were not caught napping. We didn't have a plan B or a plan C. When
Plans
once
ready.
they had scored that many runs, there was nothing else that could have been done. We would have been chasing and badly throughout. Now, I would assume, I mean, it's a hypothetical situation, but Dhoni might have thought about it a little differently. On the field, might have been a little different in terms of his tactics and all. Again, it doesn't mean that you'd have won or you'd have come away with a great success. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of a difference in that he's more hands on. He changes his tactics very quickly, which is not always the case with the other captains.
Jaideep, hey, Biswajit, what do you think? Do you agree with Jaideep over here when he says that Dhoni probably is different from Saurav Ganguly because Dhoni understands the situation right there, right then, and then he comes up with a solution. In a way, you can say that he's very street smart, instinctive. That's the word Jaideep used. What do you think, Biswajit? What makes Dhoni different from Saurav Ganguly? Because both have that thing that they are born leaders and all that. But what makes Dhoni different from Saurav Ganguly?
I agree with Jadidda that the point Jadidda raised that actually Dhoni is more street smart and he has always this plan A, plan B also, and he is very flexible also on the ground. But the thing is that I will again say the same thing which I started off, that the calmness of Dhoni, the aloofness of Dhoni on the field, and his calmness during the tight chase, his calmness during that big finals which we also observed in the IPL games also, that calmness actually is very contagious also when you are in tight spot in the big finals. That the way India started bowling, Jojibda was there. I was also watching eagerly that match on TV, obviously because I was a student at that time. So India started very badly. India's bowlers, Zahir Khan and all, like they bowled in on different, like bowled very badly, and Australia started tremendously, and actually that took the match away from India. While chasing, India had to chase like it's more than, like it's close to 350, I think, at that time, and it was
359 to
almost
be precise, if
3,
I'm not wrong.
yes, 359. So it was like always they batted India out. The way India bowled and fielded, they dropped catches. It was like they are in disarray, and Ganguly couldn't actually control his emotion and control it, and the captain actually is the one person on the field who has to like control the emotions of others also, because it's a big final. Many players were playing the final for the first time in their lives.
Exactly.
So it's all about the calmness which Dhoni showed during the 2007 final, 2021 final. That calmness, and when you are calm, calculated, then you can take the right decision at the right time also. When you are when your head is like your adrenaline rushing in you. It's very difficult to take right decision at the right time. And Dhoni was always very cool, calculative, marshalling his resources very well. And I think that's the difference between Dhoni and Ganguly, and Dhoni and Kohli also. And that's why the India couldn't win tight matches after Dhoni retired or before Dhoni took over the captaincy. I think that this is the most important difference.
Arun, before I come to you, I'll go to Sunny. Sunny, आपके you had a smile on your face जब विश्वजीत बात कर रहे थे. Anything specific you want to say, Sunny? बताइए.
सो अभी ना मुझे धोनी की एक मेमोरी याद आ गई। धोनी धोनी जब खेलता था तो धोनी को कहते थे धोनी मार रहा है, धोनी मार रहा है। तो देयर वाज अ टाइम मैं ऐसे क्रिकेट खेल रहा था, वहां पे बच्चे चिल्ला रहे थे सनी मार रहा है, मार रहा है। तो ये वाली मुझे एकदम चीज एकदम याद आ गई धोनी की। और उसके बाद अभी जो विश्वजीत ने बात बोली एरोगेंस वाली और ये थोड़ा कैप्टनसी के अंदर स्लेजिंग वाली, तो ये बात बिल्कुल सही है। विश्वजीत की बात से मैं 100% एग्री करता हूँ, कामनेस बहुत जरूरी होती है। और कोहली और गांगुली की कैप्टनसी का फेल होने का सबसे बड़ा रीजन ही एरोगेंस था। कहीं ना कहीं बहुत ज्यादा स्लेजिंग करना, बहुत ही ज्यादा अटैकिंग अप्रोच। धोनी को आप देखोगे एकदम काम बैठा हुआ है, कुछ भी चल रहा है धोनी इस काम, दिमाग के अंदर चल रही है कैलकुलेशन, लेकिन धोनी इस काम।
And Ankit, actually, in the Buddhist philosophy also of life, you have to live in present. In our Eastern philosophy,
Of
you
course,
always
of course, Biswajit, you will talk
like
about Buddhist philosophies now
yeah,
because you are the
yeah,
modern
yeah.
Buddha.
He was like a Zen monk who always used to live in the present, and that's very important when you think about past during the tight matches. When you think about the future, what will if we lose the match? This kind of thought comes to your mind, keeps your mind. That time you become more tense. When you live, when you can have that, when you can control your emotion, you can live in that present, then you remain cool and calculative, with which Dhoni was every time he led his team into the field.
Right. Arun, मैं आपसे थोड़ा अलग सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ. I've been asking about the comparison between Ganguly and Dhoni. थोड़ा सा बदल देते हैं. धोनी and कोहली. Difference. एक डिफरेंस तो सबको पता है, कोहली इज सुपर एग्रेसिव, धोनी इज एक्सेसिवली काम. तो कूल, तो आइस वर्सेस फायर हो जाता है. और क्या डिफरेंसेस है? थिंग्स दैट हैव वर्कड फॉर धोनी, कि धोनी जाके वर्ल्ड टाइटल्स जीता है. व्हाट हैज वर्कड फॉर धोनी व्हिच हैज नॉट वर्कड फॉर विराट कोहली ड्यूरिंग आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट्स?
देखो, विराट कोहली का टेस्ट क्रिकेट में थोड़ा सा बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा दिखते हैं, लेकिन लिमिटेड ओवर में उतना नहीं है. धोनी का क्या है कि धोनी एक पूरे प्लान के साथ चले हैं. आप धोनी के ऑफ द फील्ड एक्शंस को देखें तो उनके प्लान थे, वो बताते थे, वो प्लेयर्स का पूल तैयार करना चाहते थे, वो फास्ट बॉलर्स के बैकअप रखना चाहते थे. तो धोनी के कुछ फंडे बड़े क्लियर थे कि उनको किस तरह से आगे बढ़ना है, किस तरह से खेलना है. विराट ने भी वो किया, वो चीज़ें उनको टेस्ट क्रिकेट में काम आई, वनडे में शायद काम नहीं आई, या T20 में उतना नहीं चल पाया वो. तो एक ये डिफरेंस है कि उनका प्लानिंग था कैसे आगे बढ़ना है. फिर उनको टीम बहुत अच्छा मिला था. जो आप ये विश्वजीत, सौरव गांगुली और धोनी कंपेयर कर रहे थे, तो जो टीम सौरव गांगुली ने बनाई थी उसको प्रमोट किया MS धोनी ने. वो उनके प्लेयर्स देखिए आप, वीरेंद्र सहवाग थे, आशीष नेहरा थे, गौतम गंभीर थे. तो इन खिलाड़ियों को तैयार कौन कर रहा था? किसकी लीडरशिप में तैयार हो रहे थे? ये सौरव गांगुली की लीडरशिप में तैयार हो रहे थे. इन खिलाड़ियों को कॉन्फिडेंस मिल चुका था. फिर एक बड़े टूर्नामेंट में कैसे खुद को प्रेजेंट करना है, वहां पे आया और धोनी ने खुद को रखा. जब टीम मुश्किल में फंसी तो धोनी ने 91 रन मारे, मुश्किल सिचुएशन में आगे आए. तो ये चीज धोनी को थोड़ा अलग बढ़ती है, आगे बढ़ाती है.
So, because Kaushik is not there with us, I'm sure we'll have him back. But before that, I would like to ask Sunny. Sunny, I know you're a massive Virat Kohli fan. You're a proper legit Viratian over here. So I'll ask you the same question, हाँ? धोनी कोहली, क्या डिफरेंस था? क्या धोनी को अलग बनाता था? That Dhoni went on to win these world titles which Virat Kohli could not during his tenure as the leader of the Indian cricket team. Sunny.
अंकित, विराट कोहली के टेन्योर में आप देखोगे बहुत ज्यादा कंट्रोवर्सी हो गई थी, बहुत ही ज्यादा कंट्रोवर्शियल चीजें होती थी. कभी फाइट की खबर आती थी, रोहित और धोनी की नहीं बन रही ड्रेसिंग रूम के अंदर. तो ये कहीं ना कहीं अगर आप किसी और की लीडरशिप में खेल रहे हो और आपको मतलब उस बंदे के साथ आप खेलना ही नहीं चाहते, तो आपने धोनी का और युवराज सिंह का भी देखा था. एक टाइम ऐसा है धोनी और युवराज सिंह दोनों जाते थे, जल्दी आउट होकर आ जाते थे. तो ये कहीं ना कहीं विराट कोहली के पीछे ये भी एक रीजन रहा है. फिर अग्रेशन ही सब जगह काम नहीं आता. विराट कोहली का जो अग्रेसिव बिहेवियर है वो सब जगह काम नहीं आता. विराट कोहली की टीम को आप देखोगे, विराट कोहली की टीम कैप्टन के धोनी के जाने के बाद विराट कोहली की टीम ऐसी हो गई, विराट कोहली रन मार रहा है. फिर थोड़े टाइम बाद विराट कोहली अनफॉर्म्ड हो गया 50-60. नहीं तो वन मैन आर्मी बन के विराट कोहली अकेले चलता. धोनी के केस में बिल्कुल अलग था. धोनी रन तब मारता था जब पूरी टीम रन नहीं मारती थी। विराट कोहली रन हमेशा मारता था, टीम रन मारे या ना मारे, विराट कोहली वन मैन आर्मी रन मारेगा मारेगा। धोनी ने, आप अगर 2011 ओडीआई वर्ल्ड कप उठा के देखोगे तो उसमें देखोगे गौतम गौतम गंभीर का सबसे ज्यादा बड़ा योगदान रहा है, युवराज सिंह का सबसे ज्यादा बड़ा योगदान रहा है। फिर अगर आप क्रिकेटर्स की बात करोगे, क्रिकेटर्स की पहले एक अप्रोच होती थी। युवराज सिंह का मैंने एक वो देखा था, स्पीच दे रहा था युवराज सिंह, कहीं पे स्पीच दे रहे थे, तो वो अपने आप को इंडियन आर्मी से कंपेयर कर रहे थे। आजकल के क्रिकेटर्स इंडियन आर्मी से खुद को कंपेयर करते ही नहीं है। उनके लिए क्रिकेट खेलना एक अपना प्रोफेशन है, एक नौकरी है कि जाऊंगा क्रिकेट खेलूंगा आ जाऊंगा। तो कहीं ना कहीं प्लेयर्स की भी अप्रोच अंकित आने वाला अब चेंज हो गई है काफी ज्यादा। अभी रिसेंटली मैं क्रिकेटर से बात कर रहा था ऑन रिकॉर्ड, तो वो क्रिकेटर आके मुझसे बोल रहा है नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। भाई मैं क्या पूछूं, मतलब उससे उसके घर के बारे में पूछूं, आप कैसे हो, आपके बच्चे कैसे हैं, ये सब पूछूं मैं क्रिकेटर से अगर इंटरव्यू करूंगा तो ऑब्वियसली मैं क्रिकेट के बारे में पूछूंगा ना अंकित। ये तो कोई सेंस नहीं बनेगा कि मैं आपसे पूछूंगा कि आप क्रिकेटर हो, अच्छा आपके घर में कौन कौन है, क्या खाते हो। तो चीजें काफी ज्यादा चेंज हुई हैं धोनी और कोहली के टेन्योर के, धोनी के टेन्योर के बाद। शायद आपको भी ये सब चीजें महसूस हुई होंगी, शायद पैनलिस्ट मेरी बात से एग्री करेंगे।
Of course. In fact, Sunny, you know what? I've actually heard the recording of that interview, and it's pretty sad. The cricketer, I don't want to take his name over here, but the guy deadpanned all the questions that you asked him, which was pretty unfair. I mean, because this wasn't even the briefing wasn't even given to us that this is the line of interviewing. These are the questions you can ask. Okay, we finally have Kaushik back over here. And Kaushik, I specifically want to ask you this question because we are speaking in the morning about this. Key Dhoni moves that makes Dhoni thala. Some of the moves I can speak about Joginder Sharma, I can speak about Rohit Sharma opening the batting 2011. But can you think of a few moves?
See, I mean, the major moves that I can think of, one is Rohit Sharma, obviously, that you said. Rohit Sharma opening the batting in the Champions 2013 Champions Trophy, and look where he is now at this moment. Another move I would say, if you remember the 2007 T20 World Cup, India versus Pakistan first match, India's first match against Pakistan, that bowl out. I mean, when at a time when Pakistan opted all their frontline bowlers to have a bowl out, Dhoni opted I mean the batters like Robin Uthappa, Virendra Sehwag. So that was I think that those moments made him I mean different from others. His way of backing the players. If you see in IPL, the way he backed Tushar Deshpande in this year's IPL, that guy from nowhere, that guy who got bashed in the initial stages, from nowhere he went on to uh, from nowhere he went on to become one of the highest wicket takers in the IPL. So there are few instances where Dhoni took some decisions that made him apart from others.
Right. Anybody else who wants to, add any of Dhoni's moves that you can recall? Yes, Biswajit.
Yeah, the way Dhoni promoted himself ahead of Yuvraj Singh in the final of 2011, that was also a bold move.
How
It
could we
was
forget about
really,
that?
yes, yes. And that he revived many careers of many cricketers like Deepak Chahar, who was not doing well. He was getting injured again and again, and then he was always a good bowler. But again, in Chennai Super Kings, he actually revived the career of Deepak Chahar. And there are many instances where Dhoni came out of the box and did something special.
Sunny,
दो
you
मैं
want
भी
to
याद
add
करना
something
चाहूंगा।
to that?
आपने दीपक चाहर को याद करा, मुझे एकदम सुरेश रैना याद आ गया। धोनी ने रिटायरमेंट अनाउंस करा, बैठे हुए हैं सब लोग, अब धोनी ने रिटायरमेंट अनाउंस कर दिया। 15 मिनट के बाद सुरेश रैना ने रिटायरमेंट अनाउंस करा। धोनी कैप्टन ही नहीं बना, धोनी एक बहुत अच्छा फ्रेंड भी बने हैं रैना के। मिस्टर आईपीएल रैना धोनी की वजह, शायद कहीं ना कहीं रैना रैना बना धोनी की वजह से बना। तो यार रविंद्र
Arun,
जडेजा और सुरेश रैना।
right. Arun, आप कुछ जोड़ना चाहते हैं? You want to add something?
धोनी के दो स्मार्ट मूव और याद रहेंगे। जैसे अभी इसी सीजन राइडू बहुत अच्छा नहीं कर रहे थे, लेकिन कंटिन्यू खिलाया। फाइनल में राइडू ने क्या करा, सबके सामने मैच पलट दिया। कौशिक ने भी बॉल आउट की बात की थी, उसमें स्पिनर को जो बॉल दी, उसके साथ एक तरीका और था कि धोनी स्टंप के पीछे आके बैठ गए थे पूरा। तो उससे क्या था कि स्पिनर्स को लाइन अच्छा समझ में आ रहा था कि कहाँ रखना है बॉल को, क्योंकि धोनी पूछा बैठे हुए थे। वहीं पाकिस्तानी कीपर को देखे थे तो उनकी पोजीशन वो नहीं थी जो धोनी की थी, तो उससे डिफरेंस क्रिएट हुआ।
Yes. Last word.
That's for me.
Yes, for you.
See, this same bowlout thing, you need to understand one thing here, that India had actually practiced the bowlout, Pakistan had not. Which goes on to tell you that the person has all the, all the bets covered, in the sense of that if there's an eventuality of this happenstance coming up, then we should be in a position to, do well in that also. I mean, that was on the playing conditions. Everybody knew that if there was a tie or if there was a no result, there will be a bowlout. So obviously the Pakistanis didn't take it that seriously, and India's approach in itself showed that they had done a little bit of research about that. Speaks a lot about the captain's mindset. Speaks a lot about the fact that the team was ready for this kind of thing, which is a very unusual thing. I don't think anybody's ever used that again in any of the top tournaments. So it speaks about how clued in you are as a captain, and finding players that we have been discussing. One of the biggest pluses that Saurav Ganguly has, however, is that he found Dhoni. Because I remember this is one of the challenges in Mumbai, that he brought this youngster with huge shoulders, massively long hair, and called us all of us across and said, "Watch this guy. This guy is going to be the next big thing in Indian cricket." So I mean, it works out both ways for all concerned. I think that in itself makes Saurav Ganguly one of the best captains in finding and discovering Mahendra Singh Dhoni. But Dhoni by himself, I think instinctively is one of the best in the business. I saw a fielding position which I've forgotten which match in the IPL, when he put his fielder 10 yards inside from the boundary, knowing that the shot to be played by the concerned batsman from that angle will not reach the boundary, which speaks volumes for the man's grasp on the ground and on the man and the game. That I think makes him absolutely different from the rest.
We can just keep speaking about Dhoni, the man, the myth, the mystery. We can just keep speaking about Dhoni, celebrating his moves, his triumphs, and everything, his career at large. We'll never stop. He has been that sort of a character. His importance to Indian cricket cannot be compared to anybody else for that matter. Thank you for joining me in this session where we celebrated Captain MS Dhoni. Stay tuned to India.com Cricket Country for all the latest across sports. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.